Hi everyone, so I want to show you how I made this card. So I've used on the front my digital kit called Dianthus Dreams, and I haven't put anything on the front, anything else apart from the pattern papers. I didn't want to clog it up too much because the main event is on the inside. So when you open it up, you get this, which is really very cool indeed. All the dies here are from Rosa Studio, and if you head over to there, use my code ICE20, you'll get 20% off your order. And so as you can see, it's got a little mechanism, so it folds down flat and it will fit in an envelope for a 5x7. So yeah, so that's the card for today. So let's get into it. Okay, so for this card, you're going to need two pieces of base card, one that is 5x7 and the other one 5x12. If you've got an 11 3/4 length piece of cards, like an A4, you could possibly do it. However, I think you're going to find that you may end up with a very, very small tab at one end. You'll see in a minute what I mean. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to use a 12-inch because it's going to be easy with a 12-inch. Okay, so the 5x7 piece, you can put that to one side. We don't need to do anything to that. The piece that is 5x12, what you want to do is you're going to go ahead and score it at 7 inches, 8 inches, 10.5 and 11.5. So this is why you really do need a 12 rather than an 11 3/4. If you go for 11 3/4, you can end up with literally like 1/4 of an inch tab at the end here, which is a little bit cutting it fine, if I'm honest. So that's that. And then if we turn it around the other way, so we've got all of our score marks up on the left hand side, nothing on the right. We've got basically a big expansive 5x7 panel here. So if you turn it round so you're on that big expansive panel, and you just want to make a little mark at 2.5, okay? And in fact, if we turn it round back again, you can also make a little mark at 2.5 there and flip it over and at 2.5 there. Then what you're going to have is you've got a big 5x7 expanse, and on this side you've got a mark 2.5 in here, 2.5 down, and then 2.5 in here. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I'm just going to make a little mark where I made those little indents. And then what we're going to do is take our craft knife, Stanley knife, whatever, and you're going to cut that corner off. So you're going to cut from the 2.5 mark across to the 2.5 on the side, and the same here. So from that 2.5 across the center bit there to the 2.5 on the edge. Okay, so you end up with that. Now at the other end here, what you want to do is take a ruler, and along the bottom here you want to mark at 1/2 inch on either side. So 1/2 inch here and then 1/2 inch here, and you want to measure again down onto this second score line as well. So just make the same marks, 1/2 inch in and then at 4.5, which is 1/2 inch in. Okay, so you're going from here to here. So now what we're going to do is take our Stanley knife and we're going to join those two marks up. So we're going to cut from there to there, just from that second score line to the edge. And the same here from the second score line to the edge. Like that. And then we're just going to cut this whole section off. So I'm going to go between these two lines here. And we're just going to cut all the way down till we get to that bit there, and then it's going to take that off. So that bit is not needed. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to mount in folds all of these folds. Okay, so you should end up with that, which looks rather odd, but it will make sense in a minute. So now what I want to do is fold along this first score line, this one here, just fold up here, and then we're going to add some red tape onto here. If you want to use wet glue, you can. I'm going to go for wet glue, just so I've got a bit more wiggle room time with it. So we're going to take our, let's fold those in so just not in the way. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some glue onto here, and then we're going to take our card. Now you need to make sure that your pointy bit is on the desk, this bit is folded over the top, and then you're going to take this 5x7 piece and you're literally just going to stick it over the top there. So this 5x7 is sticking onto that little 1 inch bit that we've got there. Okay, so if you turn it over, that's what you've got. So you've got this. Okay, so that's what it should look like when you turn it over. So now what we're going to do, we're going to make sure these two are flat. So literally here, not like this. You want them to be fully in. And again, I'm going to use, in fact, before we do that, let's start decorating a little bit before we stick these down. Okay, so let's start with the decoration, because there's a bit that we need to stick here, which will be easy to stick in. Or actually, no, we kind of need to stick it after, actually, because you want to hide your tabs. If you want it to be easy, then you need to go ahead and stick it in now. But if you want to hide your little tabs, which I do, then I'm going to go ahead and stick it now. Actually, I'm going to stick it now. So what we're going to do is just going to go ahead and add some glue or red tape onto this little tab here. So a little bit of glue on there. And a little bit of glue on here. Like that. And then we're just going to fold these two little flaps in like that. And then we're going to fold this whole piece down onto there. It's very important that you fold those two tabs in. So when you open it up, there's your baskety bit. Now if you're using wet glue like me, then you're going to need to wait for it to dry, but you're also going to need to make sure that you haven't got any little glue strings stuck anywhere, because I did have. If you're not careful, you can end up with it leaking and then it sticks the whole card together. So you want to just make sure that it's not leaking. Okay, so that is that. So now we can go ahead and decorate. So that's like the basic of your, the basis of your card. So now we're going to bring in a few bits and bobs. We're going to bring in a matte piece that is 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. Now this is for the front here, but obviously we need to cut that angle out. So what you want to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to measure halfway on here. So this obviously, as I said, measures 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. So half of 4 3/4 is 2 3/8. So we're going to make a little mark at 2 3/8. And then we are then going to go down the side and mark at 2 3/8. And also on the other side and mark at 2 3/8. And then we're going to cut those corners off. So you should end up with that, like a little house shape. And then that is going to go onto the front of your card, and you should find that all the angles sort of marry up quite nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that down. Okay, so then let's just turn it around the right way around, so the point's going to go down. Okay, so then you want to find a piece of pattern paper, and this needs to be 4.5 by 6.5, and you probably guess what we're going to do. So this is why I've turned it the right way around. So at the bottom here we need to measure halfway, which is obviously 2 1/4. So it's going to measure on the bottom 2 1/4 and make a little mark, and then you've guessed it, we're going to measure up the sides 2 1/4 on both sides. So one here and one here up from the bottom. And then we are going to go ahead and cut those corners off again. Now, if like me, you're not going to be using wet glue this time, then you might do well to go ahead and add tape on already. Actually, you know what? Because I've got this fine tape, I think I might actually cut and then come back and tape in a minute. So let me just cut these corners off. So once I've done that, I'm now going to go ahead and add my tape. So always make sure that your little pointy bit is facing downwards. Okay, so I've gone ahead and stuck that piece on the front there. So next what we're going to do, I've left my mat out because I still need to do some more cutting of angles. So when we open it up here, what we want to do, this bit's dried now, which is good. We're going to go ahead and stick this bit in first. So this piece of card is a matte piece that's 4 3/4 by 5 3/4. And that's going to go in there. And then I've got a white piece, which is 4 by 4.5. And that is going to go in there. So that's where my message is going to be. However, there's something I want to do with this. I would like to use one of my dies that I got recently with from Ihrer Studio. So I was thinking about using this, and I was thinking about having like a fancy border down the side there. And I'm not sure. In fact, you know what I think we'll do actually is we'll stick some on already done. So I'm going to cut this out of pink card, this matte card, and then I'm going to put the little flowers on there because I think that might look quite nice. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead and stick both of these down. So before I do the decoration, I'm just going to go ahead and put the panels on. We'll come back to that decorative bits I was just talking about. So now with this top bit, what I've done is I'm going to split it into two sections. I'm going to split it into a top section and then a bottom section. So these two will be the same. So you need two pieces of mat that are 2 1/4 by 4 3/4 and two pieces of pattern that are 2 inches by 4 1/2. So these, I'm going to put the pattern onto the mat, and then one's going to go there and one's going to go inside there. You don't have to do the inside bit if you don't want to, but I thought it might be quite nice because you can sort of see it. So I'm going to go ahead and stick these down. Okay, so I've stuck down the inside bit there, as you can see, and also the bit on the front. If you want to, you could decorate this bit here as well. I'm not going to decorate that bit. I'm just going to leave it as it is. I might change my mind later, but at the moment, I think I'm going to leave it as it is. Then on the top bit here, you need a matte piece that is 4 1/4 by 3 3/4, and a pattern piece that is 4 by 4 1/2. Now on these you're going to need to cut your points. So the 4 3/4 is the width. So on this one we're going to do exactly the same as we did before. So we're going to measure and mark at 2 3/8 along the top. 1 2 3, and then we're going to mark at 2 3/8 down either side from that same edge. So 2 3/8. And then same here, 2 3/8, and then we're going to go ahead and cut those corners off. So that's the matte piece done, and then the pattern piece, again it's this top edge here, and so it's 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. I'm actually going to turn it over because then I can make a little mark and not have to worry. So we're going to make a little mark along the top at 2 1/4, and then down either side from that top section, down 2 1/4, make a mark, and then along this side here at 2 1/4 and make a mark. So now I'm going to go ahead and just cut those corners off as well. Okay, so I've stuck my pattern onto my mat, so now I'm going to go ahead and stick the whole lot onto the inside bit of my card. One thing that I did do was stick my pattern a little bit wonky, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. There's going to be that much going on that you're not really going to notice a little bit of wonkiness. So we're going to go ahead now and stick this down. Okay, so now we just need to go ahead and decorate. So I've cut out using the die set that came with this. So this was from Ihrer Studio. If you use my code ICED20, you'll get 20% off your order. So this particular die set, I did show you, well, I would have just shown you it. You've got this little flower thing, and this cuts out like this. Oh, hello. So that's what it cuts out as. And then you get all these lovely flowers as well. Because if you look, you've got like an outline, and then you've also got the inner flower. So that's like your outline bit, and that's your inner flower bit. There's also a die which cuts, which is this one. Well, I can't show you, I can show you. I've got my flowers still stuck in it, and that's the outer part that it cuts out. Ignore my tape, I double-sided it before I cut it out. And then you've got these lovely roses, and that cuts out like that. So again, I've got the double-sided behind it, and then you also get a set of 2 butterflies, and they come with their own little shadow. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and cut the shadow out of green vellum, and then I've cut the actual pattern bit out of one of those glitter print papers. So I've got some of those, and then that's the other one. So they're really beautiful. You can do some really nice things with it. Obviously you've got little, like 2 sets of wings there, so you can do it like that, which is really sweet. So yeah, really like that, really nice. So that's all the different bits. I'm not sure what I'm going to use on this card. The other thing as well was I had the big thank you die. Now, I've already used this on a card, but this was the other one. So if you remember, I had 2 of them because I switched them over. So one had a pink outline, one had a green outline. And so then the green inner I've put on the pink outline, and the pink inner I put on the green outline, if that makes sense. So I was thinking I can use this because I'm using the same kind of papers. I was originally thinking about putting it on the front, but then I was like, I'd quite like to put it on the inside. So on the inside here, I thought it might look quite nice here, like stood up there, like just poking just above there, and I quite like that, and then have all the butterflies and things coming out from behind. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to put that on, but I think what I'll do first is go ahead and stick butterflies on. If you want to, you can have some on acetate pieces coming out from here. I might do that, we'll see. Might have 1 or 2 just stuck on like that. But yes, I'm going to go ahead now and decorate. So I need to put my little flowery pieces down the sides like that, and then I need to organise something for the front. I might do a butterfly or 2, or I might just put a greeting. I'm not sure yet, but I'm definitely going to have that thank you on there. So I'm just going to go ahead now and just have a bit of a play around and see what I like and stick things down. Okay, so one thing I noticed when I was decorating, you need to be careful with your inside elements. Make sure they don't dip down, because if they go too far, then what happens is you end up with this. I've got a tiny bit of butterfly wing just poking out of this point. It doesn't really bother me that much. Yeah, it's fine. I need to stick these down a little bit more, because I did put on some double-sided tape on the back of the card before I cut it, but I only put one little bit along the centre, not as much as I should have done. And then when you open it up, you've got thank you, and you've got this lovely little 3D type box. So I've just put the 1 strip of flowers down the side, because I thought otherwise I'm not going to have much space in the middle to write. And then I've used that thank you sentiment. I added this is on acetate. This is like a little acetate strip. And then I just added some of the little flowers and the butterflies on the back there. And I'm really pleased with the way it turned out, actually. So yeah, so it's a bit like I think I did a card similar to this. But I quite like the point on this one. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the front as it is, because the main event is here, and also this is what you really want. You want it to have want them to have it open like that, really display it like that. So so yeah, if you wanted to, you can make this look a bit more envelopey. So maybe you could have like the way envelopes go. But to be honest, that butterfly wing kind of makes it look a bit more envelopey anyway. But yes, I'm really pleased with it. So please don't forget to check out my papers on Etsy, so my digital pack, because this was Dianthus Dreams, as I mentioned before. And also don't forget to go over to Coca Studio and check out their dies and their tools and craft bits and bobs. If you use my code ICED20, you'll get 20% off your order. So the dies, all the dies shown here, these flowers, the butterflies, the thank you, they were all from Coca Studio. So yeah, and then the pink matte card here is a Dovecraft coloured card. It's part of the pinks, and it's a very good pack. I think it's about £2.99, £3.99, not very much anyway. And it's this massive great pack here. I use it a lot, as you can see. So it's 50 sheets of A4, 5 colours, 10 of each colour, and they're 180 GSM, which is fantastic for matting. So yeah, so that's the card for today. So I hope you liked it. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below, hit the notification bell so you never miss a video, and we'll see you again next time. Bye!